First, I think it was a very interesting game for the spectators. The unfortunate part is that it did not give any goals. But tactically, I think it was a game of very small margins. And those marginal gains could have played in our favor if we used them very well. Unfortunately, not to have had shots on target. When we had those two big moments, first half with Mutau on the opposite side. The third one towards the end of half-time, where he tried to put a cutback, where I think had Peter made a run to the near post, maybe could have opened that hole a little bit more for us. But statistically and looking at all the metrics, one thing that we really ran short of is to try and put balls on target, and also to use those small margins of cutbacks and Mailula towards the end of the second half. Peter also had a very big moment from Jaboko's ball just on the edge of the 18 area, and the same thing happened again in the last minute of the game, where I think he could have just put his body in front and made sure that he faces the goalkeeper. And another very big chance that we got first half, where Peter probably should not have even touched that ball from runway, should have just allowed it to go in front of him and go straight to the goalkeeper. And unfortunately, all those moments came to nothing. Ball possession looking very good. I think 59% if I'm not mistaken. Number of passes, completed passes, very good. Number of box entries from our side, very good. But unfortunately, what matters most to score goals we did not do. But also one must give credit to Orlando Pirates. I also think they played very well. They were very smart in their approach. In possession, they would allow us to come to their half, and they are very strong in transition. They did that very well. And from build-up, they wanted to upset us a lot sometimes with a high press. But from time to time, we would come out. But I think it was a little bit smart of them to, whenever they feel they are not as balanced as they should, to maybe go to zone 2 and zone 3 and make sure that they can catch us on a counter. Second half, they killed that momentum a little bit, because when Saleng was no longer there, because Saleng was very important for them. The Barca was also very important for them, and the threat of transition only came very late again from Pule, who could have caused us problems in the far post, but I think Tapelo dealt with him very well. But otherwise, it was a very good game of football. We are looking forward to the next assignment, which I think will determine exactly who goes through. But it's interesting when two big teams play the way they played today. It's only unfortunate when they don't get to score goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take questions from the floor. Let's start with Lorenz here. I've noted you, Mr. Christian and Karab.
Coach, Lorenz here from Industry Times. Until Charlie, he had a really good game. 1 or 2 slip-ups here and there, which are uncharacteristic. But you guys took him off quite earlier than usual. Why was that?
Now we just wanted to inject a little bit of intensity to improve the speed of the game, which is why if you check our stats of the second half, there was a big improvement in terms of our incision, in terms of our passing game and the number of passes, vertical passes and all that. But as you were saying, he played very well and he had very good moments in our build-up. But it was solely because we wanted to improve the intensity of the team, which is why we brought in players like Allende, players like Gaston, and we also wanted to bring Tapelo into a striking position. Unfortunately, Mutau got injured, because we wanted to induce a little bit of speed in our game, which I think was working very well for us in the second half.
Thank you, Coach. Mark?
Coach, on how many occasions have Mamelodi Sundowns in your time had a game without any shots on target? Athlete, for example, I mean, is this a rarity that we have witnessed today?
It's very rare. I don't want to lie. That's why I'm saying this was a game of small margins, because if you look at the first chance by Ronwin to Peter, leaving that ball just to go through and go straight and face the goalkeeper, it's a clear chance to take a shot and score. And the same thing happens with Mutau. 2 moments in the opposite side with no one next to him, but balloons both crosses over the bar. And it's a very rare scenario for us not to have shots on target when we had created so many moments that should have resulted in a shot at goal. Peter, second half, had 2 moments. The first one from Chapelo just on the edge of the 18 area. The second one towards the end of the second half, which I think both moments were moments that needed a little bit of composure just to receive and put your body in front of the defender and be able to terminate the attack. But very, very unfortunate for us not to have created those moments.
Okay, Karabo, there's the mic.
Thank you. Coach, 14th minute, 36th minute as well as the football. That's where you guys had set pieces, and there were quite long deliberations, about 25-30 seconds. Was that something that Sundowns was really looking to capitalize on? Because also there was a bit of discussions in regards to set pieces when you guys had those in that minutes. Thank you.
To be honest, I think our performance on set pieces today was very poor, because there are things we know about Paris defense, more especially on lateral free kicks. Between the last line and the goalkeeper, there is always something you can benefit there. But we did not capitalize on that. We had too many moments where I think we wasted our set pieces.
All right, Tepo.
Thanks, Coach. As you correctly said, it was a lovely game. Unfortunately, no goals. I know there's still time before the second leg, but some of the things that you think that your team could not do today, can you point them to us the second leg?
Areas that I was not happy about, to be honest, was the composure and a little bit of intelligence in some very good moments, because the first moment where Peter could have just left the ball to go through and go straight towards goals. When you receive it and bring it back when the advantage is favoring you, those are moments that you cannot be too proud of. And the 2 balls that were played on to the underloaded side on Mutau, and it is something that was well trained, because we knew there would always be space on the outside of Mayela, and we wanted to capitalize on that space. But unfortunately, those 2 big moments yielded nothing. And the last one towards the end of the first half, where he was trying to play cutback, but I think Peter should have made it easier for him, because the defenders, when Peter does not run to the near post, they could not open the space for a cutback. And if Peter had run to the near post, maybe we would have touched it first, because the defenders were hanging towards covering the cutback more than their readiness to deal with a ball that could have been played in between the defense and the goalkeeper. Those were moments that I'm very unhappy about. There were other moments where Kutumela, when you expect him to receive and go straight towards goals, but he receives and goes backwards. And that was, for me, those were moments that I feel could have resulted into something better, in probably providing us with big chances. But those situations never yielded even a shot at goal, let alone forcing the goalkeeper to make a save.
Okay, wrapping up now. Start with Velile. I've noted you, Tolalele and Mazola.
Coach, let's talk about, I saw some incidents today with the 4th official. I think it started when you were bringing in Alende. There seems to be issue with the plaster. What was the issue there? And I then noticed again with Erasmus and Paris could have been punished because they were one man. In fact, they were already trying to make that change, and they were then after that the exchange between you and him, because I felt that you felt he was delaying your subs. What was his explanation?
On the tapes that were on the wrist, I think the 4th official was right, because both players, Ayende and Kemi Erasmus, had some jewelry underneath the plaster band, so those can be dangerous when you touch somebody with it. I think the 4th official got it right there. The only moments where I felt it was a little bit unfair to us, and I also think it was intentional, because he was very slow in making sure that we made that substitution when Mutau was outside. And there were 2 moments where the ball was outside, and he could have easily made us to make that substitution, but he could not. And he was busy wasting time and wanted to talk and communicate whatever that he wanted to communicate to us. And we were telling them to just focus on the job of making sure that we get the players into the pitch as quickly as possible. So I think those were
Okay, Tolageda?
Coach, you made mention of knowing stuff about the Pirates' defense. In terms of Richard Ofori's goal kicks, they deployed 3 players whenever he kicked the ball out, and as a counter to that, you guys had 3 players on the edge of the box. Is that perhaps a tactic that you guys are using to make sure that if they are going to play out for the back, you are pressurizing them at every moment?
Ours is always to profile or analyze the technical limitations of the oppositions. And when we know that the goalkeeper is not technically very, very good, we always want to induce a little bit of pressure on him. And at the same time, maybe to force him to play the long kicks when you know that you've got Grant, who is most likely to win the ball, and Rush, who is most likely to win the ball. There were very 2 good moments that Ofori had in the early stages of the first half, which I must give credit to, where he found Hoto behind Tebza, and the other one was when he found Shandu behind Neo, and those were very good moments, and they gave us a scare, which is when we then changed and wanted our aides to confront their 2 defensive midfielders, which was Tim and Mosele. Then we deployed a wingback to fullback, which we forced him to play a lot of long balls, which we benefited a lot. But I was still not happy that when we won those long balls, we would not win them and immediately want to play forward. We won those balls, but still want to play in and around their press because they still had people that were dangerous on our side. I must also say Ndwandle was very instrumental in some of those goal kicks because he would find a hole behind Andile, either on the left or on the right. And by the time we adjust to him, he would have already received and confronted the centre-backs. And to be honest, in those moments, I believe they should have done a little bit better because the decisions that he would take were very good. But technically, when he makes that final pass, at times he would be a little bit hasty.
Okay, quick one, Mazola.
Sure. Coach, just on Andile and Bongani, can they play together, or would you like to see?
Yes, they can play together. Bongani, when we got him first from Jacks, he was playing as a 10 and as an 8. You remember he was playing with Mamelodi at Jacks. As an 8, he did very well for us, even before. And I think he still has a lot to offer in a more advanced position because he's got a goal. He's got a shot, he's got a header, he's strong on set pieces, and he's got a very good pass that is well weighed. I still believe they can play together, but it will not be very easy to see that.
Okay, last question, Mngqithi. Yeah. Just wait for the microphone.
Coach, it's actually a follow-up on Mazola's question on Bongani. I mean, you said when you made that change, you wanted some incisiveness and speed as you attack. But do you feel Zungu gave you that? And how far would you say he is in terms of his fitness and the intensity that you want in your game?
No, he has improved tremendously in terms of his fitness, considering where he's coming from. We had a game against Township Rollers immediately after our game against Amazulu, and he had a very good performance together with Riveiro. They had some top performances, which is why we considered a possibility of him helping us in this match. And even when we brought him in, I think there was a lot of verticality in his passing game, and that was very important for us. How many times he found Modiba, how many times he found James in the half space, how many times he found Mudau. Those to us were very important, and at times he would find Alende in very critical positions in Mngqithi, and that is what we wanted. But more than anything else, we wanted to improve the speed of that passing game. The interval between receiving and passing first half was very slow, and that was a little bit irritating for us.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. We'll end the first half of the press conference here. Thank you.
Intense game. the game was played from the first minute until the 93. There was not a time to rest for anyone, I think, on the field, or think twice, because the game, at least for me, it happens very fast, very quick, especially the first half. Maybe because, I think we managed quite well, I think, the first half, in the way that we wanted to approach the game, controlling our opponent. I think that's quite all right. Of course, there's always small disadjustments and situations where they can create some troubles, because they have a lot of quality. But we didn't suffer at all, I think, in the first half. I think we managed also, I would like to know the stats, but we managed to discuss the possession in the first half, especially. I think we did a good job in the building up and with enough situations to progress with a bit more determination in the last third, in the first half, and second half start in a different way. I think maybe the first part of the second half, I don't know how many minutes, not much. They create some more problems. The position of Manqoba, did I say right? Yeah, was a bit difficult for us to defend in the beginning. Then we managed to control again, and obviously the last minutes with the fatigue, the emotions, the substitutions, there was a different game, a bit crazy sometimes, but we finished with the feeling that we were very close in the end to get more advantage. But overall, I'm really, really happy with our performance today. With improvements, but we're going to improve as usual, as I'm used to say. But like I said, overall, I'm very, very happy.
Thank you, Coach. Let's take the first question from the floor. Start with Riveiro.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
will not take Richard.
Thank you, Coach. In fact, talking about sets, 4 shots on goal, including those 2 big chances from Libasa and also Kemit as well. On the balance of that, would you say that if it was a league game, we would say 3 points dropped or 2 points dropped? But looking at that, do you feel that you're a bit unlucky with these big chances we're talking about that you couldn't take? And also, if you can just let us more on today, you said someone that you have not really started before, Saleng. I'm sure there's a lot of impression that he would have made to you during this international break.
We have one more game to play in a few weeks. This is just the first leg. It's a 180 minutes game. So there's no complaints. We did our best in order to get more advantage today and travel to the second leg with more advantage. It wasn't possible. We were close. We still creating and going to the goal. So that's one more time makes me feel always very optimistic about the future. So I don't feel unlucky. I feel lucky actually to have the possibility to play this type of games, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy to see 2 teams trying to play football and trying to offer a good show with the full house, with the fans, both teams' fans enjoying the day together without any conflict, without any problem. So we have one more game. Let's see what happened there, which team is getting the initiative and taking risk, because now it's a KO game. There's no more chances to be in the final. But it's still too late to be there. We have to play 4 league games before we go there, and that's our target now. And about Saleng, well, one more time. I'm not going to individualize about the players, but you can have your idea if you take a look of our squad. you see the names, you see their capacity, their experience, their everything, you know, that we have, and Salem is in the start 11. I think it's easy to understand how good the guy is training, performing, and how much he can help us nowadays.
All right, let's move on to Domain and then Mngqithi.
Coach, Coach Manqoba was just here before you, and he spoke about how important Riveiro was in receiving the ball on the turn and then playing in for the passer, playing it wide. It was his debut today. What did you make of his performance? Were you happy with what you saw from Riveiro?
Yes, same case.
Coach, give
He's
us
the man of the match,
give us something to work with,
He's
please.
the man of the match. First game.
I don't believe in individual trophies and stuff like that. I'm happy for the boy because it's not easy to arrive in a place like Pirates with this level of demand, that our own demand. I mean, you know how much we demand to ourselves every day, and he did it fantastic since he arrived, and that's the reason why we felt comfortable and confident to play him in the start 11. I think that you didn't discover Philip today. I think it's a player who already proved his value in the league and his capacity to play football. And when you have a good structure and good players around, you can even look better. And the adaptation was very quick, and that's why we choose him in the start 11. One more, like I said before the game, we choose the players that we feel that they're going to help us to execute the game plan, and not the players that we like more or not. We try to take what we need.
Come on. Coach, I'm looking at your defense, Mahela, as well as Sibisi. It seems like to be a great understanding between the three of them. But would you say now, going forward, your attacks do have the very same understanding, but now it's a matter of just converting those chances into goals?
Yeah, like I said many times, we're still creating chances, clear ones. You know, the chances that we miss are, you know, very, very close to the goal, to the 5 meters box. So we usually manage to arrive in good places to score. From our wingbacks, with 2 strikers today, we modify a bit our up front, the way we shape the team in order to have more probabilities to progress in the building up, to have more spaces in intermediate positions, and we go to the goal from the first minute. So that's how we do approach the game. And what can I say about the last touch that I didn't say before? It's coming. It's just coming. There's going to be a moment where we will start to score goals when we don't even deserve to score goals. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So no, I'm not worried about that. I've never been worried about our capacity to score goals. I can be worried if we don't manage to create chances to score goals, or we only do it in second balls or in long balls behind the defense or in set pieces. Then I would be more worried. But I think in every game, almost in every game, we have moments where we manage to unlock our opponents, the defensive structure, and today was not an exception.
Okay, I'm looking for new hands. Let's give Temba a chance here. I've noted you calling.
Coach, I look at your starting 11. I mean, they've already mentioned Blondlo, Salim. You know, you also had more firepower on both wings. What is it that you saw on the Sundowns defense that made you think you could use that much of pace going with that?
I'm not going to tell you what I saw. We even though I'm repeating myself in every press conference about our identity and the way we try to play, the team that we want to be in the end of the process, or in the middle of the process, hopefully. We have I have fantastic coaching staff, which is helping me with analysis and trying to understand what the opponent tried to do, where they have problems, because we have problems as well. Every team, there's deficits that you need to analyze, understand, and try to take advantage. And like I said, we try to take the players that we feel that can help us in that sense. Different conditions, you can do your own analysis and realize what we tried to do today. So yeah, it's going to be a different story probably in the second leg.
So you're not going to tell me what you saw?
Never.
Fair enough, there's still a second leg. I mean, just be fair to that, but you can't reveal the secret now. Moving right along, okay, we've got Colin, it's a new hand as well. I'm trying to give everybody a chance.
Coach, nice approach to the game, and I just want to find out from you, percentage-wise, how far are these players from reaching your expectation?
They are not far, my players.
Yeah.
No, even continue with the previous answer. It doesn't matter what I say or what I propose or approach or I try to show to the players if they don't have the capacity to execute it. And the credit is for them. They have the capacity to understand, to execute, to modify during the game when the communication is not possible in games like today. The guys are on the map and they are on the game and they are living the games and the weeks, because you cannot perform like today if you are not doing the things well during the week. And that's what we try to do. Approximate as much as possible our weeks with the situations that we are going to fight in order to execute as good as possible. That's the aim of this game. So they are, I don't know, how can I say, like they are far from nothing. They are already, they showed today that they have the capacity to compete well against a team who was dominating the South African football the last, how long, 4 or 5 years. So the size of our opponent, our opponent today is not a minor thing. So I'm so proud of our development today.
Okay, Ben Duluya, new hand.
Coach, you just mentioned that you were facing a opponent that was dominant for the past 5 seasons, and to see your players going toe-to-toe with them, do you think that maybe if you can continue with this performance in the next coming league games, there's a good chance in advancing to the final on the second leg? Thank you.
I think the outcome of this game is going to be positive for us, even though it's not a party there in the locker room. We wanted to win this game and we draw for 0-0. But understanding, like I said, that this is just the first half, so we have to continue. Come back again to the PSL. We're gonna play Sekhukhune in 2 days, and we want to win there. We want to continue close to the top in the league because we are ambitious, and the second leg still, like I said, it's coming after 4 games, 12 points. Like I said before, October is going to be very tough for everyone, and we don't want to lose the track where we are. So our focus after tonight is going to be 100% in the next PSL game, and let's see what we can prepare for the second leg. But definitely this performance is gonna help us in our process.
All right, wrapping up now, Tsepo.
Thanks, Coach. Coach, today's match was also about probably the best defense, a team that has the best defense against a high-scoring team. I think in all competitions, Sundowns scored 18 goals. Is it satisfying to know that you stopped them from scoring today? Thanks.
Yes, of course. I have to appreciate what we did one more time in the defensive phase. Defense is about solidarity, it's about generosity, it's about being eliminated and run back and understand that you have always something to do. We have everybody involved in the defensive phase, and that makes us feel very proud of our players. So So yeah, it's one part of the game, and I think we are doing so far so good, but not because we are not conceding, it's because we are not giving chances to score. So that's how we recognize the situation, like we are succeeding in that phase of the game, because it's not easy to find situations where the opponent is close to score. So that tells that we are doing a good job, but it's because, like I said, we don't have attackers and defenders. We have players who are involved in both phases at the same time. The 11 players, and it helped us to be where we are, definitely.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. We're going to end it here. Good evening to everyone.